Today we're diving into the world of AI, and this article, it's titled The End of Search, The Beginning of Research. It really makes you think about how AI is impacting how research is done,
Yeah.
especially with these reasoners and agents.
It's a big shift, I think. This piece really highlights how OpenAI's new tool, Deep Research, shows how these two technologies are
Coming together.
yeah, they're changing how we do in-depth research.
So this article explains that traditional chatbots, they operate on a token by token basis,
Mm-hmm.
and this limits their ability to,
Reason.
Yeah.
But reasoners, they're in a new category of AI. They generate thinking tokens before giving you an answer.
Interesting. So it's not just
It's not just like the next word.
right.
Yeah, it's more intricate, more
Well,
thought out.
This article highlights two major breakthroughs with these reasoners.
Okay.
First is developers can train these models using examples of expert problem solving.
Makes sense.
So the AI thinking is more effective. And second, the longer the reasoner can think, the better their answers get.
I can see how that would be more cost-effective than just making larger models.
Exactly.
There's a test called the Graduate Level Google Proof Q&A test, or GPQA for short.
Gotcha.
It's meant to assess reasoning ability.
I am.
Reasoners are getting much better scores on the GPQA, so it really shows how effective they are.
It seems like these reasoners are developing really quickly.
Yeah.
You've got OpenAI progressing from their O1 to O3 models, China's DeepSeek with their R1 model, and now Google's getting into it too.
It's definitely a competitive area, yeah.
Yeah.
All the big labs are in on this.
Let's switch gears to agents. The article defines them as AI systems that can work towards a goal independently.
So right now, the big push is to build general-purpose agents, something that can handle anything you throw at it.
Like a jack of all trades.
Exactly. The article talks about OpenAI's operator.
Okay.
It's a good illustration of what we can do now and what we still need to work on with this approach.
Operator is like a polished example of a general purpose agent, right? They gave it this task.
Oh, yeah, they had it read a Substack post and then told it to create an image from it using Google Image FX.
Sounds pretty straightforward.
It did well at first, but then ran into some issues with security restrictions and its own limitations.
Interesting.
So that's kind of where we are. General-purpose agents are still being developed, but these narrow agents, the ones that focus on one specific task, are already doing some amazing things.
This article brings up OpenAI's Deep Research as an example of a narrow agent.
Yeah, it specializes in research, and it actually uses their unreleased O3 reasoner model.
So the better the reasoning, the better the research.
You got it. They gave Deep Research this research task, wanted to see how it would do, told it to examine academic research on when startups should transition from exploring to scaling.
That's a pretty specific question.
Right. And they told it to focus on high-quality papers and RCTs and to look at the different viewpoints in the research.
Sounds like a pretty tall order.
So Deep Research spent 5 minutes thinking about and analyzing this topic. It even had to figure out how to deal with paywalled articles, which I thought was pretty neat.
Like it had a problem solve in real time.
Exactly. So what it ended up creating was this 13-page draft, almost 4,000 words,
Wow.
with 6 citations and even more references. The article says it was comparable to something a beginning PhD student would write, which is impressive for an AI.
That is impressive. What about the quality of the citations?
They were spot on. Legitimate sources, linked to relevant quotes. It wasn't just pulling random information, it was doing actual research.
That's really interesting. Now, the article compares this to Google's version, also called Deep Research.
Yeah, Google's had more citations, but they weren't all good. And it didn't seem to have the same depth as OpenAI's.
Like OpenAI's Deep Research was driven by curiosity.
OpenAI's was nearly PhD level. Google's was more like good undergraduate work.
And to think, both of these were done in a fraction of the time it would take a human.
Right. That's the potential here. Imagine how much faster research could move. OpenAI even claims that their deep research can handle a good chunk of research projects that have a high economic value.
It's a pretty bold statement.
It is. But from what we've seen so far, maybe it's not that far-fetched. So the big question is, how does this change the role of human researchers?
As these AI tools get more and more powerful, what happens to us?
Well, the article suggests that we won't be replaced, but our jobs will change.
That's how.
We'll become more like conductors, guiding the AI, interpreting the results, and making sure the research is high quality.
That makes sense. We'd be overseeing the process.
Exactly.
But if AI is going to be this integral to research, what about how we train future researchers? Will PhD programs even look the same?
That's a good point. If AI is going to be this common in research, we'll need to teach people how to use it properly.
Not just how to use the tools, but also how to think critically about what the AI produces.
Right, and make sure it's being used ethically and responsibly.
This all sounds like uncharted territory.
It really is. We're at the very beginning of this new era of research. And it's not just the researchers themselves. Think about funding and how research findings are shared. Those might need to change too.
Yeah, that makes sense. The old ways might not work so well with all this new AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How do we even make sure their research is good and legit when an AI is doing a lot of the work?
That's a tough one. The folks in academia are going to have to come up with new rules and ways to check the AI-generated research.
It's like we need a whole new rule book for this AI research.
Exactly.
This article focuses on the good stuff, but it doesn't really get into any potential downsides. Are there any things we should be worried about as this technology keeps advancing?
One big worry is jobs. Some people's jobs are all about gathering and analyzing information. What happens to them when AI starts doing that?
Yeah, it could be like a...
A big shift in the job market.
Exactly.
And then there's the issue of access. Right now, it's mostly these big tech companies that have these powerful AI tools. What about smaller schools or individual researchers? Can they compete?
It's like a David and Goliath situation.
Yeah, it's a big concern. If we want to keep things fair and encourage innovation, we need to make sure everyone has a chance to use these tools. Open source projects and people working together could help with that.
This article touches on ethics, but doesn't go too deep. What are some ethical things we should be thinking about?
Well, one big one is bias. AI models learn from the data they're fed. If the data is biased, the model's going to be biased too.
So it's garbage in, garbage out.
Basically. And this is really important in fields like healthcare or social sciences, where biased research could have a huge impact on people's lives.
It's not just about making sure the AI is fair, but also making sure people aren't using it for bad things.
Right. With AI making content so easily, how do we stop plagiarism, misinformation, or just plain fake research?
It seems like we need to know exactly how the AI was used in the research, right? Kind of like showing your work.
Exactly. We need transparency. The steps they took, the data they used to train the models, it should all be out in the open. That's how we build trust in AI-assisted research.
It sounds like this isn't just an issue for scientists and tech people to figure out.
No, not at all. This is something we all need to be talking about. Researchers, developers, policymakers, everyone. We need to work together to figure out how to use this technology responsibly.
So where do we go from here? The article doesn't give any solid predictions, but it seems like AI is going to keep playing a bigger and bigger role in research.
It's hard to say for sure, but I think that's a safe bet. Some fields might jump right in, others might be more cautious.
It's clear that things are changing.
They are.
This whole idea of reasoners and agents, it's making us rethink what it means to be a researcher. How do you see this relationship between human researchers and AI playing out?
The best research teams in the future, I think they'll be the ones that can use the strengths of both. AI can do the heavy lifting with data and information, while the humans focus on the big questions, the meaning of it all, and keeping things ethical.
It's like a partnership,
Exactly.
a team effort.
This could lead to breakthroughs we can't even imagine right now.
It's pretty exciting. But we need to keep our eyes open.
Absolutely. We have to make sure this technology helps everyone.
The article leaves things kind of open-ended. It says we might be able to make AI agents that can truly act on their own, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, that's the big dream, right? AI that can understand and operate in the world like we do. It's a really complex problem.
But we're getting closer.
We are. These narrow agents, like deep research, show us what's possible. If AI keeps getting better and we learn more about how intelligence works, who knows what we can achieve?
It's a little scary, but also really exciting.
It is. We're shaping the future right now. We need to make sure we're doing it the right way.
So it's not just OpenAI and Google working on all this. What other companies are involved in this AI stuff?
Oh, tons. Meta, Microsoft, Anthropic, they're all building these advanced models. Plus, you've got universities and independent labs. They're doing a lot of the groundwork.
This article really got people talking online. Some folks are excited about what AI could do for research. Others are worried about what it means for the future.
Yeah, I get that. AI has the potential to change a lot of things, so it's important to talk about both the good and the bad. We need everyone to be a part of this conversation if we want to make sure AI is used responsibly.
We've covered a lot of ground here. Reasoners, agents, how they're different from old AI, and what they could mean for the future of research. We even touched on the challenges and the ethical side of things. What are the key things you want our listeners to take away from this?
First, AI is changing fast. These reasoners and agents are a big step forward, and they could totally change the way we do research. But even though there's a lot to be excited about, we can't ignore the risks. We need to figure out how to deal with bias, job losses, and make sure everyone has access to these tools. And most importantly, the future of AI is up to us. We need to make sure it's used to make things better for everyone.
It's a lot to think about,
It is.
but it's exciting too. We're on the edge of something big.
We're writing the next chapter.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of AI and research. We encourage you to keep learning, stay informed, and ask questions. The future is being shaped right now. We all have a part to play.